What do you think? Imagine Dragons come through with their latest effort just about a year after their last one, which produced some of my least favourite songs of the past few years. I didn't even realise how bad they were until I heard them more. But Believer and Thunder, I mean, I'm probably not the first to say it, but yeah, I hate those songs. Oh my god. And the thing is once again, just with the Muse review, I feel like at this point, you know, this kind of band has become a punching bag for music critics and music nerds. But I'll be honest, I think Imagine Dragons started off pretty strong. I'll be the guy to say it. I like Radioactive. Yes, I like that song. I like It's Time. I liked quite a few songs from Night Visions. It was a pretty long album, so you know there was bound to be a few songs sprinkled across that entire thing that I would enjoy, and there were some good tracks, I'm not gonna lie. Sure, I got into that album during a time where I was very different to who I am now. I'm a lot more critical now. I have higher expectations, so you know that kind of album appealed to any kind of casual listener at the time, because it was pretty straightforward indie rock, pop music essentially. Even still though, I think some of the tracks held up better than people give them credit for. I don't think they were like the worst band ever to you know, make their way into the mainstream like people acted, but they got a lot worse as time went on. I mean, they've just devolved into this commercialized machine that regurgitate the most cliche type radio advert commercial type tracks that you could possibly come up with. And the funniest thing about this album is that they try attacking that very same ideal on the song machine. They try acting like they're not part of this machine, they're not part of, you know, the higher beings telling them what to do, except they do exactly what you would expect a very cliche formulaic band to do. It's just so ironic. They try adding in these heavier moments on this album, especially on the opening track, where you're getting this sense of, hey, this is pretty rocky, this is like a bit of a rock tune, but it's not. It's just stale bread. It's just stale bread. There is just nothing fresh about what they're doing here. Vocally, the way he tries like with his voice every so often, it's just embarrassing. Like, it's just embarrassing to listen to the way they try being something that they're not. This band is essentially the track zero at this point. Zero is what this band is. Very jangly, jingly, poppy, upbeat tracks that don't really have that great deal of a substance, but they're made for something bigger. They're made for a film, they're made for an advert, they're made for a film trailer. This band at this point is nothing more. They should know that they're nothing more than these commercialized radio jingles. And when they try breaking out their wheelhouse on songs like Digital, it comes out with the worst song I think I may have heard all year, or if not, top 10 worst songs. It starts off with this like acoustic guitar, and then it breaks into this rave anthem that you'd find in an underground London club that, you know, spawned out of the 90s when the Prodigy started getting big. Oh, it's just so bad. It's just such a mess of a song. It makes no sense. This style that they're going for does not work in their favour. How do they not see that? 21 Pilots did this exact same thing on their last album. Not the latest one, the Blurry Face one, where they did the exact same type track. It's just like, this isn't you. Stop trying to be something that you're not. Where is this coming from? What are you doing? Even the sound of these songs aren't the most offensive thing about this album though. Some of these lyrics that they come out with, oh, it's just so ordinary. It's just so ordinary. I can't believe how ordinary you could write a song. And the way on one of the tracks where he's talking about like bipolar, highs and lows. Come on, dude. Can you not write better than that? Can you not write better songs than tracks like West Coast Where he's like, I ain't no Superman, I ain't no Holy Ghost. I'm just the one who keeps you up at night. I'll be there for you. I'll be your West Coast. What? I'll be your strong man and I'll be your West Coast. What does that mean? Tracks like Love, the closing track, is just so sappy. I just can't bear to imagine their writing process for this. They must have just involved as many people as possible that would, be sat there thinking, okay, how can we make these songs simple? How can we make these songs tangible for an ordinary fan base? How can we make these the easiest accessible songs we could make? And then they just sat there and wrote all these tracks to have the most simplistic, basic formulas, basic lyrics, basic, chord structures, basic song themes and all that kind of thing. These guys are basically an industry plant at this point. I mean, I'm not entirely sure if they are, but you could put the argument forward that they absolutely are, with the way that they just make these incredibly basic songs. And then you've got tracks like Only, where they're literally trying to jump on the trend that the Chainsmokers left behind about a year ago, or maybe even 18 months ago at this point. I'm not trying to say that the Chainsmokers can't have another hit in them. They probably will at some point. They'll be back. But at this point, that fad is over. That really simplistic formula that they had on all their songs, with the breakdowns, the dubstep drops that turned into these like xylophone piano mashing that they did on songs like Closer. Why are you bringing that back on your album now on the track Only? This is just a straight up rip off of that sound. With all that said though, I think we actually need bad music like this. Like, I think I need to be subjected to this kind of thing just to see how bad it can get. Like, one of the biggest bands around right now can come through with one of the worst albums I've heard all year. What timeline are we in? Like, how are big, successful, famous, hit-making bands making albums like this? What went wrong? This is gonna make me sound like such an old head, but hear me out for a second. In like the 60s, 70s and 80s, the biggest bands were at least putting out decent material. Like, even if you can look back at Queen and think, you know what, most of their albums were kind of but their singles were pretty strong. Like, that's at least something you can get. You can get a greatest hits album out of a band like Queen, and you're gonna get a lot of enjoyment out of it. Bands like Fleetwood Mac, Pink Floyd, you can go back and listen to, Thriller and get some enjoyment out of it. Madonna's first album still sounds great to this day. Like, these were incredibly successful, popular artists that were making tolerable music, and yet, one of the biggest bands around in 2018 is making one of the worst albums of the year. Like, I just don't get how this is happening. I'm not just blatantly attacking a band because they're popular. I'm just baffled by the popularity of a band that's producing this horrendous music. Like, it's just nothing redeemable about any of these tracks. They could sell out a stadium just within a week probably, and yet they're producing this. It is bizarre to me. So yeah, it's gonna be a 2.5 out of 10. I don't think I've ever given that score, and it sounds ridiculous saying that out loud, but that's how bad I think this album is. If you have any thoughts on this, then do let me know. If you think it's actually redeemable in any kind of way, then please also let me know. But subscribe to the channel for more reviews. Have a good day. I hope you enjoyed this review. Listen to some good music. Check out the best playlist I've got of the year 2018. There's a lot of great albums there. Go check some of those out, please. Have a good day.